Hi, I'm John.
Hi, I'm Olivia.
Hi, I'm American. I'm Patrick.
Same difference. And on this special Discovery Festival episode of I Quit Star Trek, we're going to be asking whether, after 5 seasons, Discovery is the genest of all visions.
And to
You got to
qualify
imagine the music
ourselves
there.
for this conversation, I am showing my credentials. I don't know if anyone else here has credentials,
Yeah,
but
we
I am
can't
in
match
fact
that. Yeah.
CEO of Gene's Vision, and that is official,
So,
decreed by Gene
yeah.
himself.
Yeah, so everything Olivia says on
Right.
Gene's Vision is the law now, because famously, when Olivia goes to sleep, she actually goes into a fugue state and consults the Gene Roddenberry like the Oracle of Delphi.
That is correct. Thank you.
It's like the Oracle of Delphi, but with more three-breasted women, I guess.
I mean,
I
it's a
mean,
feminist
yeah.
act, John. It's a feminist discussion. It's a feminist, really spiritual communion that's taking place.
Was Gene Roddenberry the first feminist?
Yes, and the only,
The
the
only
only to do it
feminist.
ever right.
Yeah, it's like Judith Butler. It's Gene Roddenberry in a hat. But
Extra facts.
that's a fact. We don't make the rules. Olivia does, and as CEO of Gene's Vision, Olivia, do you remember what your first ever thought about Star Trek Discovery was? What do you think the first time you ever watched it?
So my introduction to Star Trek Discovery was, I'm not going to watch this show. I am just completed TNG. I'm going to go through the release order. I'm doing this the way that the gods of Paramount intended me to
Gene
discover Star
himself,
Trek.
really.
Yeah,
And then I
that's
start
how.
seeing all these haters on Twitter talking about, oh, it's terrible, it's terrible. And all these haters have the same energy. Racist. So I say, hey, I'm going to skip going on to what was the next one after TNG? Fucking
Deep Space
Voyager,
Nine.
DS9.
Enterprise,
Your
DS9. Okay.
lover, your real love.
So I paused part of my watch of DS9 to get straight on to Discovery, and thank God I did. Because Michael Burnham, I love you.
Oh,
I mean,
truly a queen.
you know, I watched the first season. I'll be quite frank with everybody. I skipped school to watch the first episode of Star Trek Discovery. I'm very proud of that moment. I don't know what to tell you. That also
I'm,
tells you how young I am. So sorry about that, everyone.
I'm contacting the school. You're going to jail.
So I'm American. Did Discovery come up? Was it just like the day after, or did
Yes,
it
that's
was it a
correct.
while after? It was just the day after. Okay.
Oh, was
Uh,
that? I
it
don't think
came
I was
out.
that on time, so I missed the beginning.
Uh, I my the day that Discovery premiered was also my wedding day. For my failed marriage. Yas me.
Yes.
So I don't remember. Here's the thing, I don't remember like what I did, if I just watched it like the next day or what
Really
it
hope you watch it
was.
the second day.
I mean, I didn't clearly I didn't watch it that day. But like I can't remember if like I waited a while or if I just watched it the next day, but I definitely watched it pretty soon as it came out. But its premiere date was my wedding day.
I forgot, like, I'm just conscious of the fact that we can't edit anything out. And I was going to ask a cursed question. Who
We'll
thinks I should
save
ask
it
the
for
cursed
later.
question? Who
Do it.
thinks I should ask the cursed question?
I mean, I'm fine with it.
I
Did you
guess.
consummate your marriage to Star Trek Discovery? We need
Oh,
to
fair.
know. We need to know.
Well, you know what? The We stayed at a very nice little villa
I killed John.
that night, and I don't believe the villa had Paramount Plus or what I it's CBS All
CBS All
Access,
Access.
what it was called back then, back in the day. So no, I'm
Sadly,
so sorry.
sadly, Patrick, it sounds like your wedding was not Gene's vision. So
Exactly, that's probably why it failed.
at least we got to the bottom of it.
I mean, for real.
Jesus Christ.
But I like
We're only 5 minutes in.
I'm an OG like Star Trek fan since birth. Like I like to say, I was born on Star Trek Day, born on September 8th on the 20th anniversary of Star Trek. So I was super excited about Discovery. I remember going to like trekmovie.com and like based on like the like a picture from the side, they would try to figure out what the delta looked like exactly. They had so many versions of like these are potential looks of the delta based on like literally a
It's a
quarter of a
blob.
picture of it. They were all wrong, but it was just fun times.
Wait, do you throw it back? Were you on Trek BBS or was that like a UK Trekkie thing?
No, I was on Trek BBS.
You
I still have a
nerd.
Trek BBS account. I haven't like gone to it. I assume I still do.
Is
But
it still
yeah,
active?
I'm on Trek BBS.
It's active today. I only know it as like Terry's one of our OG listener besties.
Villain.
And villain. Like I just know that
yes.
Terry had that in like the 2000s and it was causing
Oh no,
chaos.
I was a fleet captain, so I made my way to fleet captain at the Trek BBS.
There's
You see, I keep
ranks.
hearing Trek CVS, which is a very different thing.
Very
Oh,
different.
John, what's your rank on Trek BBS? Because
I've
I'm
only
gonna
been on
replace
it
you
for
with
like
Patrick.
a month. I'm like still like an
Oh, you're
ensign,
new
so
to it.
Okay, so you're an
new.
ensign. Patrick, John is fired, and welcome to the team.
Olivia, you don't know how to edit a podcast.
I am an excellent editor of podcasts. I actually go line by line sometimes.
Right, sure. But I mean, that's the interesting perspective on it, because so much of the sort of Gene's vision discourse around Discovery has been from that kind of speculative, for lack of a better word, anally retentive part of the fandom.
Yeah.
And it always is a bit like, are you watching the show, or are you looking for something not to like about the show? Because if you don't like what's going on, you don't have to watch it, you know. You can just leave. You can always just leave.
I think that honestly, I haven't considered that part of the fandom for years now. I think their peak of their hysteria was like the pandemic era. Maybe it was the sort of being in this pressure cooker of our own homes that really made it crazy, but it was insane. Like I remember having to curate a block list just so I could enjoy this show in peace. Hundreds of accounts blocked, not even just a small amount. People were insane.
Yeah, I don't. People are still like that now. It's a bit like you can go outside, you can meet Trekkies in real life, you can discover that they all think you have terrible opinions. Stop.
Well, it's one of those things with like Discovery. I also I have so many blocked accounts to begin with on the hell site that is Twitter, but like I've blocked so many people. But I mean, I'm a little older than you two, so I was around and I watched Broken Bow, the pilot for Enterprise when it came out, and people, I mean, even then, people like came for it and like canon, but there's Olivia, like you were getting at, there's the racist component that is just added on top of it.
It was
Uh,
bad, guys. I remember y'all. I remember what you were up to.
Yeah,
like
it's fascinating how, you know, it feels cheap in some senses to say, oh, you wouldn't react like this if it was a white character. And I say that feels cheap because I live in the uncomfortable place where I believe in the benefit of the doubt and the good of all people. But increasingly, I'm wrong about that with you people, as in Trekkies who are horrible about Michael
Would you
Burnham, not
say
the
you
listeners.
people, John? Sorry.
You
John's
people,
cancelled.
fair. That's
terrible
fair.
people with terrible opinions.
Um,
It's just like, no, you just wouldn't accept this
yeah. I think what was
if it
interesting
was a
about it was
man
that
in
it
that
was
place.
the discourse to me was immediately identifiable like as a Black woman. I was like, oh, these microaggressions are like now a fictional character can't even live. I can see this from miles away.
Well, and there's the racism that was compounded also with the sexism.
Listen, the women. What are we going to do with the women in Star Trek?
Well, now Vista made a
Everyone called
documentary.
her a Mary Sue. So it's like, and so like Olivia, like what you're talking about, like being a Black woman and like, seeing that, like it's the both. It's the both. And
it
just
was
yeah.
it was a lot. I mean, I'm glad that I ended up watching it because I guess to this day I wouldn't have got onto Discovery yet. I'm sure some peer pressure would have got to me because I still haven't finished all of Star Trek, is why I'm saying that. But
You haven't finished Enterprise. You haven't watched Strange New Worlds. You only
I
finished Picard
am
because I
sad
made you.
that my husband's trip becomes a war criminal. Okay, is that okay? Is that okay for me to be sad?
He doesn't just become a war criminal. He falls deathly ill, so they clone him and kill the clone so they can harvest organs from him.
I've seen that for the sake of this podcast, so you're not happy. I've seen my boy die several times.
Yeah,
that's true.
Because Star Trek loves a story about like, is this person really a real person worthy of like rights? Star Trek loves a story about that.
You know who else really loves that story? the American political society.
Ew.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know.
Why are Americans obsessed with fun issues of human rights in their science fiction? Because we all should be. We live on Hell Island, so
you do. Do tell Rishi I said hi though.
no, because he's tiny and I hate him.
What's the cat's name?
Oh,
Is it?
Do you have a cat?
Number
We have a
10
cat.
I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, that hangs out.
I keep wanting to say Elroy, but that's my cat. So
well, the
What's
cat
his
also
name?
tell
Larry.
the cat.
Oh, Larry the cat.
Yeah.
Hi, Larry. It's short for Lawrence.
If anyone's I feel like we have to add so much more context. So this is a podcast episode that's going on to a festival. We can't just make all these niche British references.
Okay.
No,
Britain isn't real.
and they'll like it. It makes us charming.
But the thing was,
Speaking of charming British people, Shazzy Latif. Because I thought, to get us back on topic, the thing I think that threw a lot of people off about Discovery was it was plotted in a very different way, and part of that is just Michael's litany of terrible boyfriends.
Tyler, let me
Trash
tell
Tyler.
you, I hate this man so much. I hate him so much. I know that they went through trauma together. I know that they both suffered, but he put too much pressure on her to fall back into this "we are soulmates" routine. He did not let her breathe, and he does not deserve her.
I completely agree. Everyone's really upset because it's, from what we can tell, he's not going to be in the Section 31 series.
Film.
I'm like, or film.
Because
television film.
Because Paramount doesn't have any money.
But I'm like, good. I don't need him in that show or in that movie. Like, I need Michelle Yeoh. It's built around Michelle Yeoh. Who cares about Shadley? But I was one of those people. Like, I was deep into the people. Like, oh, is he really Vok? Like all that stuff. Like before that, when they were like, he was using like his dad's name and then something else like Iqbal or something.
Everybody forgot that he was originally cast as Vok and then they changed it.
Yes.
Ew, what? Did I even know that?
Yeah, it was like in the original casting, it was like Shazzy Latif is playing Klingon, and then they went, "Oh no, it's not." Ooh, yeah.
Ew.
Yeah, and then they gave like a different name to the a fake name to like him is the.
I just remembered his storyline vividly and got upset.
I just remember I always think about the bit where they just decide to show you him having his body ripped apart and replaced with human parts. And the heavy implication as human parts came from other people.
Well, yeah. Where else would they come from?
What are we going to get into? Was Star Trek Discovery too violent? How can my 5-year-old child watch this?
You let your 5-year-old child watch. People let their 5-year-old children watch anything. 5-year-olds don't remember anything. I don't remember being 5.
No.
It wasn't even that long ago.
Yeah, you tried to with your therapist, but you didn't get there.
Your mileage may vary. It was just there was that sense in which Discovery was also created and sustained in a very different kind of era of television, which I think something that's not acknowledged now is that Discovery is not IP television like Disney Star Wars or MCU TV. It's prestige television. It's trying to compete with Game of Thrones and that kind of like, and the American, that kind of like big prestige television, and not, ooh, we're going to get the fandom and the fans to watch this.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you had an idea of what Star Trek Discovery would look like if they rebooted it now, it would be Strange New Worlds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's so much of why people didn't like Discovery, because it wasn't for Trek fans. It was for people who thought were watching Star Trek, not quite liked it. So now there was a piece of semi-generic science fiction that was actually just Star Trek.
I'll be honest, guys, that's the only show to this day that I see non-Trekkies talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see non-Trekkies talking about Strange New Worlds even.
No.
I've tried to get my colleagues' children into Prodigy. Doesn't work either. I wish.
I've seen some people get into Picard just because, not because they were TNG fans, but because I think Patrick Stewart himself outside of Star Trek has become so famous
Why are we obsessed with the Shakespeare nerd?
But yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think also people, again, I don't know how much you all remember from this time, but originally, Brian Fuller was developing Discovery. Brian was, he did Pushing Up Daisies, but he also was a Voyager writer. And then like there were creative differences and they were like, bye. And that's when like Kurtzman came in. And
Okay.
Kurtzman has the Star Trek credentials, but he did obviously the movie and he kind of rebirthed a new fandom of Star Trek. And I think that's what they wanted to do. I think that's why they kind of really got, Kurtzman in charge and kind of took Fuller out, is because they were like, let's not recreate what's always been done before. And that's what I love about it. And everyone's like, they hate there's a big thing that's destroying the universe every season and all that stuff. And I do kind of get that, but it's like, I don't know. It's a TV show. I'm kind of
It's exciting.
okay with a TV show being a TV show.
It's also kind of fascinating because the universe-ending, there's only actually one universe-ending threat.
Who that?
It's Control. Everything else is just kind of fucking terrible. Like, Existential War, pretty bad. The Orion, what are they called? Emerald Chain, pretty bad. And then Species 10C is fascinating because it's not even... Species 10C are the best, air quotes, villains, as is Parker.
Mm-hmm. I mean, who was the...
If you don't know what this gesture means, I don't know what to tell you.
Oh, let me not do that. Anyway, who was the Emerald Child villain? Oh, Osira?
Yeah.
Oh,
my hero.
Sorry.
I am in love with her. She was, and I mean that, and like, I'm so glad like she got her comeuppance. She thought she could churn and be like, we'll rule together, whatever. And they were like, no, you are going to prison. And she's like, well, I guess I gotta die.
I thought it was a good episode. I thought she was a really good villain. Yeah.
I didn't think she was a good villain. She wasn't giving. She wasn't serving.
Did she not have the Jean's vision?
She didn't have that little pizzazz that made me actually scared of her. Like when I see Ducat's face on the fucking screen, I want to kill everyone in the room and myself. When I see Osira on screen, it's giving nothing. It's giving mildly annoying, kind of lovely green hue, but
it is traditional Jean's vision. The very first alien seen on all of Star Trek besides a Vulcan was an Orion. So it's like the OG Jean's vision. I won't accept otherwise. And
the OG Jean's vision is a sexualized dark slave dancer.
Exactly.
I'd like to withdraw from my position as CEO of Jean's Vision momentarily.
Sorry, Olivia, you can't withdraw as CEO of Jean's Vision. You have to have it taken from you in single combat with the Ferengi lightning whips.
Okay, as long as there's whips.
I also like how the Ferengi look in Discovery now.
I think Discovery's set design, costume design, and prosthetic design is fantastic. I think the show looks really good constantly.
I mean, they brought, again, with Kurtzman, they brought Neville Page, who did the Star Trek movies and is one of the most famous, character design people in all of television and movies, to do Discovery. And it's like, anytime someone complains, it's like, we are getting the cream of the crop of alien design here, and you're mad that it doesn't look like the same exact thing that was recorded on non-HD television in 1992.
They got Neville Page to design a costume for Doug Jones, and you're mad.
You know what my issue is? Half the time they're mad that it's like basically not blackface anymore. It's like, why do you want it to be like, we have to move on? Like, it's okay, it's not okay, but it happened and it was in its time, but we can't continue. We can't keep it going.
They so badly want Klingon blackface.
Why does it have to be the dodgy version?
Some of us think that you can do prosthetics without looking like it's 1977. Yeah. And I mean that in both forms.
And we don't want to make weird, like, anti-Asian tropes continued from the 60s to now. Why would we do that? So yeah, lovely costume design and set design.
I mean, yeah, I just say, look, and this is Discovery related, but we're kind of getting now into second season with if memory serves, when they like make return to Talos.
Yeah.
And it's like they did such a good job making it what what happened in 1966 still, or 64 or whatever when it was filmed, but looking so good. Like they updated everything so perfectly for today, but it was still so clearly kind of that classic
It's
look.
when they land on the shuttle lands the planet and it's still making the weird alien planet noise.
Well, and because of the leaves.
Yeah.
And then now the leaves move a little better because they're not just like being, like in OG, it's just like someone's underneath there just kind of pushing it around, and now they look kind of like really alien and stuff. I'm like,
well, remember the most powerful moment of that season is the bit where Pike sees himself in the future.
I fell in love with Star Trek again. As a TOS girly, I was beside myself. I loved it. And he's just the perfect Starfleet man.
Yeah, I still think that Discovery wrote Pike and Spock better than Strange New Worlds.
1,000%.
They're more interesting characters in Discovery. There's more going on with them.
Spock is fucking. I'm sorry. Spock is fucking boring in Strange New Worlds. I don't give a shit about his love story.
This is not a Strange New World podcast. We can save this for another day.
That's all I'm gonna say.
But it's true, they were written, I mean, just so true. And I think it's because Strange New Worlds really took the idea. The whole premise of the show is, what if we created TOS in 2022, 2021? And Discovery didn't do that. And exactly.
John took that personally.
My personal Strange New Worlds from We're So Back to It's So Over is just been a long sort of. But this to see with Discovery is, I think season 2 of Discovery, I still go and rewatch sometimes because it's just great television. It's got some great moments. The music's it's really annoys me that we haven't a proper Star Trek Discovery music release, because bits we do get are always really good. Like especially some of the musical themes they introduced for the 32nd century are really great.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the quality of Discovery, I think, will always be what stands out in terms of visual quality, aesthetic quality. It's a great shame that the show has very obvious writing weaknesses that are just difficult to talk about because people are dicks about it.
Yeah, that's also true. But I will say though, some people act like they are so fucking persecuted when they have to criticize any of the new Star Trek shows. Listen, no one's gonna come fight you. Say what you want. It's not that deep. We have a whole podcast called I Quit Star Trek. You're good. You can say what you want. Stop acting like you're in fucking Soviet Russia, okay? You're good. Say what you want to say. And if your criticism gets criticized, maybe it needed to be. Maybe you're exposing something about yourself that I saw as a Black woman, for example. But, relax.
Olivia, let's not start a fight at somebody else's podcast festival.
I just need people to know that it's okay, but I'm watching.
But you're exactly right though. It's like that's the John, like you said, it does have, it's not perfect. There are issues with it. We've already discussed some of the issues and all of that stuff and trash Tyler. But what happens is, like, anytime you want to make a kind of a legitimate complaint, and whether it's legitimate or not, like, who am I to say? But that's when all of the others come in. And then, like, they make it about the fact that there are no cis white men. Of course, they don't say cis They say there are no straight white men, on this show and all of that stuff. Because I guess, Doug Jones does not count all. Perhaps the most famous actor on the show before the show premiered. They're like, Doug Jones is.
Oh, God, he wasn't he?
It's the show that gave you your Strange New Worlds White Captain again. So are they not happy at least for that? It gave you a whole new show.
The first 2 seasons, the captain was a straight white dude.
Oh yeah, Captain Lorca. They had 2 of him.
Like,
you got 2.
Yeah, Lorca was great. He even got to be horribly fascist. Aren't you guys happy?
You love that. It's your
exactly.
favorite.
Oh my, and then bringing back the mirror universe, and like they made it as sexy as ever, which I'm sure straight men probably love.
Yeah, but it's that kind of, the problem is they made it sexy in that kind of queer by panic way where everybody's wearing black eyeliner and black lipstick, and they're and men's and gay people stab each other and kiss each other. You know, it's the worst. It's fascism, but also queer coded fascism, which is
It was
basically-
gothic sexy. It wasn't, you
Don't
know,
you remember that
Jean's
bit
vision, tits out sexy.
Remember that bit in season 3 with where Giorgio had the premonition in the Garden of Forever, and she watched Colbert and Reese have a fight, and Reese licked the blood off the knife. Remember that, everyone?
That's hot.
I don't know. I just think.
Sorry,
about
can I just
that
have a
lot.
moment,
Do you think
please?
that about it a lot, Patrick?
I actually was thinking about it a lot recently. Sorry, can I
Oh, it's hot. I think of the scene too where Mirror Giorgio is talking to Prime Culber, and she's like, he's, you're bisexual, and mine is like, I'm not here, but I'm just like, yeah, I want to see Culber and Giorgio fuck.
No. What if we don't? What if you
I
remove
hated
from my
that. I
mind?
hated that scene, to be honest. I can't lie.
Yeah,
But
I didn't like that either. But
it was just it was playing into that sort of long-lasting cringe trope of the bisexuals.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was weird.
I would love, just in general, I would love to see the two of them have a sex scene. I think they're both gorgeous people. They're the two. Michelle Yeoh is one of the hottest people ever.
Slay.
And I mean, she's a solid 20 years older than Wilson Cruz, and still like
Still the baddest
it's
bitch in the game.
unbelievably attractive cast, isn't it?
I need to get this out because it has to be said and it needs to be heard at this festival. I was thinking a lot about the licking of the knife because Fade Ralpha does that in the Dune 2 movie. And I was like, what if this is just my thing?
Olivia, this is you're admitting this in a public forum.
This needs to be
YouTube.
spoken of. Like it's
her
an artistic expression. It's really great, and I just appreciated it. I'm sorry, John.
The next person you date, I'm just going to tell them this.
Moving on.
Lick the
I'm going to
knife.
send them a
Lick the
link
knife.
to say, just watch about 27 minutes in.
I'm sorry you don't appreciate art. Like, you don't get it.
But I'm sort of always fascinated about the sticking to first breaking tradition shit, especially around the Mirror Universe stuff, because I don't like the Mirror Universe, but they made the Mirror Universe horrible and evil and stupid, and I suppose that's the best way to do it. Don't try and make it make sense.
I wish I was strong enough to hate the Mirror Universe, but unfortunately, John, it's hot. And I know that it's hurt me, and I know that it hasn't treated me right, but it's sexy. And I get to see fun outfits.
Spock with a goatee.
Yeah. But remember when Stamets did like a bit of like Roman poetry and then Giorgio just killed him?
Yes.
Girl boss, question mark?
And then remember when she ate Saru?
That was deeply upsetting.
Okay, it happens. It happens.
Have you? Never mind.
No.
I've never eaten a kelpie. No.
Never mind.
No.
If this wasn't a recorded episode, I'd make a joke, but I'm not going to because this is a holy space.
Yeah. I would say that at least 80% of the audience knows exactly what you were going to ask, because I assume they're intelligent enough to figure that out. If you're not, I might tell you in the live stream commentary that goes with this. I might not.
Oh, I forgot I'm going to be held accountable for this.
Only for a little bit, only for an hour. It's fine. It's fine. It's still interesting to me, though, how close to Trek Discovery will stick and people will still be weird about it. I remember a while ago, I went back and watched the first 2 episodes. And the thing that's, because I was watching, we're doing something else. And the thing that struck me is the sound was so original series. Like, the sounds of the computers and the ships was so Star Trek. And that's such a difficult thing to get right. In many senses, aesthetically, in terms of what they're trying to do, it feels more Trek. Also, when they break with tradition, like going to the 32nd century was really good for the show because it allowed them to just be like, right, we're going to do our own thing here. And every decision they made then has kind of been great. You know, except Tarka.
I
Olivia, is Tarka Jean's vision?
Is Tarka this gay little villain
Yes.
that I actually forgot about until I just today rewatched
The guy who
season
tried to destroy,
4?
the guy who tried to destroy the universe for his boyfriend.
yeah.
Okay.
Which I mean, same, but
I forgot he did do it for his one true love, that little funny little guy. And
We've all done it for a funny little guy.
I'm just reversing the question, like, what would you do for a funny little guy? Like, maybe
no,
in this
Patrick, what would you
moment,
do
I'm
for a
feeling
funny little
sympathy for
guy?
him. I'm reversing.
no, I
my
would destroy the whole universe. I would.
Would you detonate? Would you detonate an H bomb for a funny little guy?
I mean,
Would
why
you blow
not?
up? Would you blow up Taiwan for a funny little? Right, no, not Taiwan.
Wow, we're using real places.
It's
like, are you gonna war crime? Would you war
That's what
crime
Tarka
an
did.
actual
Tarka
place?
was like, "Fuck it, I'll blow up a civilization for a funny little
Yeah,
guy."
I didn't enjoy Tarka's
funny little guy isn't.
to the show, but you know,
I did not love that. Yeah, they were like, and he's gay. It's wow. I love how everyone's gay, but like he didn't need to be gay. Tarka didn't. Like, it's great that everyone else is gay. Like
Homosexuality,
Joanne and Kayla,
not at what
love
cost.
in the chat, I might, when you see this moment, you can ask me what joke I was thinking of, and then I'll say it then.
Yeah.
And I do. I like I said, I also do like that everything's gay. Like I mean, I'm hoping if season 5 does not give me canon Jola, that's Joanne and Kayla, then it's game over.
Wait,
I mean,
Jola, did you say?
Yeah.
It's never happening. How is it not happening at this point? There's no time.
They're clearly in love.
Yeah, and why haven't they given it to us? They haven't confirmed it. It's over.
I mean, my powerful take on Jola is that friend. There's two friends you have who you think should date each other, and then when they date each other, it's the worst relationship you've ever fucking seen.
I could also see that.
Like, so, you think, oh, you
yes.
guys are great chemistry, but you don't realize that, like, I don't know, Kayla, like, throws all the bedclothes off her bed, and like, Oshikun, like, is one of these people who like, doesn't believe in putting, like, eggs, like, puts eggs on top of the microwave or something stupid.
She likes ketchup with her eggs, and Kayla thinks it's disgusting.
And doesn't like ketchup with her eggs and doesn't believe in sorting laundry and shit like that. Like, you'll discover that these two people are fundamentally dysfunctional the moment they try to date each other. But as your friend group, you're like, oh, you guys should date all the time. And the moment you make them date, the entire friendship group explodes. So the reason they haven't. So you know how at the end of there was that short trek where Discovery's been abandoned for 1,000 years?
Oh yeah. So.
The real answer for that is that Detmer and Oshikun dated, and the fallout from the breakup was so bad they had to disband the crew.
Typical lesbians.
They split the friend group in two, so they had to abandon the ship.
I mean, that is typical lesbians, but I do get that because like my best friend in the whole world is gay. He's a gay guy. We're not. We're not dating. There's nothing that's ever gone on there, and we would be a bad couple. We would be a terrible couple. So I can't see that. I'm okay if they don't get together. I'm okay if they're gay best friends as long as they're gay. I just need to make sure that they're gay.
I mean, you could have seen everyone on that ship is gay.
Who doesn't have the energy for it? Like, who's the what now? I was gonna say who's the Malcolm of the ship, but that's the gayest man
Saru.
ever.
Saru is the most heterosexual man on that ship.
No.
Even with that bad bitch walk.
Yes. Right? That's
Saru is just a camp straight man. So have you
Saru
seen
is the first straight man on Drag Race.
Yes. Yes.
Saru, but that is very Doug Jones because Doug Jones is a straight man. But he is very like yes, you know what? I agree with you, Olivia. That is Doug Jones to a T.
Have you seen how
he would be the first straight man on Drag Race. He actually there has been a straight man on Drag Race. I apologize.
Shut it down.
Yeah, I mean, wow. That's why it's a Drag Race discourse. Anyway,
but Doug Jones would absolutely. And again, Doug Jones is phenomenal.
Oh, he's great.
I think he's so hot. I know that sounds weird.
I was gonna say, have we ever seen Doug Jones vote? Because I feel like he could slay. Like he could kill it. Like he would just immediately boom, boom, boom.
We haven't seen him vote, but we have seen him do a straight up like runway walk.
Oh yeah, the band's bitch.
Because they did remember him and then oh my god, Oh, the Klingon Chancellor. Why can't I think of her name?
Mary
Oh,
Chieffo.
no.
Mary Chieffo, where she did, they were releasing videos at that time of them just, being funny behind the scenes and everything. And
Oh, I
like,
thought you were going to talk about Saru's weird girlfriend, but anyway, hated
I
that.
like Saru's weird girlfriend. Fuck
okay,
you.
get that bussy. Get that bussy.
No, that's where it all started. The bussy, that's the issue, the trauma.
No,
What?
the
Patrick,
bussy.
Oh.
Vulcan.
Oh, yes.
She's
None of this is
also
usable.
awesome. She's awesome. These last two seasons, really, I liked the first two seasons. Let me be clear. These last two seasons have elevated Star Trek, in my opinion, in such a great way. They're not 100% perfect. Tarka is annoying. There are issues, but like, I have been so impressed. And I think that the characters they're bringing, some of these like side characters, have been really phenomenal. I don't know.
When I was watching season 4, I was like, where do these hot black people come from, guys?
They were always there.
No, there's new ones in season 4.
Oh, they did.
There's extra.
They had a new one because what's his name who played Bryce got a gig on the show about the Pullman Porters.
Yeah, and because I
But
haven't
she's
watched
also
season 4
really
in a
good.
while.
That's a
like,
show full of lots of hot black people too. So
yeah,
Well,
I
and
haven't
he's
watched season
hot
4 in
too.
ages.
yeah. So like
Think
the new
that-
guy's hot.
The other thing that really pissed off, the fascists was when they had, Stacey Abrams as the president of Earth.
You see, that was just kind of like, are you fucking kidding? Does
To
she
be
know?
honest,
It was like,
imagine
does
Okay, go
Stacey
ahead.
Abrams have anything better to do with herself? And then you saw how she ran that campaign that year, and you went, oh no, you didn't.
But John, can you imagine a UK politician being put in Star Trek? Who would you put
Olivia,
in?
I'll be really sorry to you. It's Emily Thornberry. It's Emily Thornberry on Doctor Who. I can see her doing it.
We put Keir in Star Trek just to see Perry's reaction.
My powerful take is that Keir Starmer would probably do better lines on Star Trek than Stacey Abrams.
But wait, we could get Keir's like Quith into the Anson Mount Quith.
Yeah.
And
If you
suddenly...
put Keir Starmer in a Starfleet Admiral uniform and have him tell the characters you're not allowed to do this, believable immediately. I'm really sorry, but you're not allowed to go to Corona. This is a reference.
You all watch The Traitors, the US version though. That's what
the one with Jonathan likes to scream up female aides burqa.
Oh no!
You know why Jonathan Burko is on US Traitors? Because he's not allowed to work here anymore.
I didn't know that, John.
That's
one of the reasons he got started.
Terrible, but also like the way he spoke. He was like, "You are the queen of like deception," and it's like he was had to be poetic about everything. I was like, I would love to see him as a bad guy on Star Trek.
Did you not know that the reason he kind of was asked to stop being speaker was that there was a massive bullying inquiry?
Yeah. I didn't know. I know that there was a huge bullying inquiry. I didn't know he was particularly involved in it. Okay, it's over. We lost another one.
I don't think Jonathan Burko was one of us.
We lost another one.
Wasn't he a conservative? I know it's like weird with your speakers because it's like
the speaker is neutral.
He was a liberal Tory, and they elected him speaker. And one of the reasons they kind of forced him out was that he was pissing around with all the Brexit stuff because he didn't really believe in it.
I mean, he would basically. What would he have? Well, let's not get into it, actually. Let's not get too.
No, we'll do this.
I do think he would make a good like Trelane style villain.
He would be a Q. Jonathan Burko would be a very funny Q. I think the Abrams thing was kind of both peak Gene's vision and terrible at the same time, which made it even more peak Gene's vision. It comes back to my long-standing theme that like if Gene Roddenberry could have had Dr. King on Star Trek, he'd have done it. But that's because it would have fucked off people he didn't like.
That could have happened. Why didn't it happen?
Because Dr. King got assassinated.
They killed him. Yeah.
Why did Dr. King go on Star Trek?
Another fucking L from that assassination. Like we could have had so much.
I don't know if you're familiar with the history of the 1960s in the United States.
Gene, if he worked faster, if Gene worked fucking faster, it would have been fine.
It's a revolving. Yeah, famously, if Gene Roddenberry had tackled that gunman quicker, none of this would have happened.
I mean,
but he was too busy doing. He was too busy doing the vision.
He was too busy smoking and taking ayahuasca.
I don't know. Like, I am personally a Stacey Abrams fan. Because I think you know, for me, like she doesn't represent necessarily like an ideology. She represents like her big thing has not necessarily been let's, you know, just get Democrats elected, though it has been her thing. It's like, let's make it so that everyone who should be able to vote can vote and everyone has access to voting. And yes, the fact that the majority of Americans, you know, would tend to then vote for Democrats, and we know that as a fact, you know, does help the case in my opinion. But I don't know. I big fan, but it did really piss off. I think I liked it even more because it really pissed off the fascists.
Sometimes
the
when the
RMBs
correct people are annoyed, it's cleansing to my soul.
Sometimes correct people being annoyed is the point. You got to remember that Pete Gene's vision is writing an absolutely cursed episode where Kirk and Uhura are forced to kiss by Greek telekinetic people. And everyone going, oh, you can't show that in the South. You can't have them kiss. So Gene arranges for the people from the studio to not be there when they're shooting it. And then the Sheldon Coles and Shatner fuck up every other shoot. So they have to use the one where they kiss. And then showing it in the South anyway because they got nothing else to do. Pete Gene's vision is just doing the much that you can to boil people's piss. And Discovery constantly boils the correct people's piss, even if sometimes it's not very good.
I think part of the issue is that these people find it hard to reconcile the fact that they're not in this progressive group of what Star Trek is anymore. Like I'm gonna be the captain, so how can I be racist if I'm gonna be the captain? And when it all comes to pass, I'm gonna be that guy. You're not, mate. You're not.
You're not, and more
We'll be
importantly,
shooting at
silly.
you. You'll be down in the Bell riots.
I think I mean, but you hit the nail on the head. That really is exactly what it is.
Yeah, because so much of
I'm glad.
So much of Star Trek's power is being able to see yourself in a better world and imagine yourself in that. And let's face it, if you're a white man, if you are a white Star Trek fan, you've been seeing yourself in a better world for 55 years. And Discovery wanted to think beyond, you know, people could say, oh, you had Siska, but the kind of radical optimism of Deep Space Nine is very different to the radical optimism of Discovery.
Because I'd like to be happy without the pressure cooker of
being
the Dominion
God.
War.
Yeah, Michael Burnham was never Jesus. You know, one of my strongest takes on Michael Burnham, she's a very powerful character because her failure was her fault, and she overcame it. Right? Like you can argue that she's a bad character, that she shouldn't have got what she got, but no, she made a massive mistake when she was at the apex of her career. She makes a massive mistake and is thrown right back to the start, and earns everything she does to get back to where she wanted to be. And that pissed people off because I think the idea that black women can fight and get what they want is something that frightens a lot of people.
Yeah. I mean, people don't like to be forgiving of anyone outside a particular mold, but particularly I think for black women, it's a real upwards battle for some reason.
It's model. Michael Burnham was not a model minority. None of the Discovery cast are model minorities. That's part of what makes them interesting, is that they're all struggling with something and overcoming something. I mean, think about, you know, early Stamets might fall into the characters of like the sassy / bitchy gay stereotype, but he's also just kind of a dick to the protagonist. It's not even sassy. He's
gay people be mean again. Let's fucking go.
He is like him and Kayla when he and Detmer had their little fight, and I was like, yeah, Kayla, get him.
Yeah,
I love.
They're dicks to each other, but they learn from it and they grow. And I think that's another thing people were quite confident discovering, because so much of it is about growing and changing and becoming better than yourself, which is the most powerful Star Trek trope.
These people would rather have an infallible character that when they make mistakes, it's only because they're put in the most extreme of situations. They cannot, like, as much as we're all flawed, they'd rather have someone that is almost like a perfect little god or Shakespearean philosopher than a regular dude.
Yeah. And I really apologize, because I know we're coming up on our hour. There's one thing we haven't talked about that I think is really important, and it is Mary Wiseman as Tilly.
Oh God, yes.
I'm just when I say she's a top 5 favorite Star Trek character for me these days, I just love Tilly. I
Oh,
think
Tilly
that she
is
is amazing.
fantastic.
Mary Wiseman is so good at it. She is like just amazing. I'm still hoping that she is somehow involved in the new Academy series.
I thought she is.
That's
We
nothing
don't know
specified
for
yet.
sure.
Yeah. There is nothing up. There are several things that I regret about them not finding a way to make Discovery work in the 23rd century. And the one I regret most is the fan about the fact that Tilly's Starfleet Academy roommate was Jim Kirk. You know that one, right? There's a fan thing where it's like Tilly's roommate at Starfleet Academy was Kirk.
What? Sorry, guys, I don't understand the timelines in Star Trek, so that I don't understand how
Tilly
that works.
and Jim Kirk were at the Starfleet Academy at the same time. They're the same class year.
Okay.
That kind of makes sense.
I believe you.
I just think that's neat. I think that's great because I think imagine Mary Wiseman and Paul Wesley.
Well, because you got to think we know that Kirk, he became, XO faster than anyone. He was lieutenant when he became XO. He was a lieutenant at the same time that I think Tilly got promoted to lieutenant once they got into the 32nd century, right?
Yeah. She's promoted to lieutenant. I think she's actually not promoted to lieutenant to the end of season 4.
Yes, correct. But they're kind of, I get it. The timeline.
They're parallel characters. I think part of it is that Tilly in many senses is the audience POV character to Michael Burnham, in that Tilly is the Starfleet officer we all think we want to be, and Burnham is the one we all don't want to be. And you put them in a room together and see what happens, and it's great. And Mary Wiseman sells so well what, for lack of a better word, a 19-year-old space cadet would be like.
Mm-hmm.
She was very nervous in the beginning, though. I know she had a great character arc, but she would second-guess herself a lot.
And that's part of the whole thing of Discovery being about becoming a better version of yourself.
Exactly. You actually get to watch people grow. And, Star Trek has been so averse to watching people grow for the longest time. I mean, look at Voyager. We had 7 seasons of them on the other side of the galaxy, and people didn't grow. And it's like, how could you not be? I mean,
Harry Kim not changing became a running joke.
You know what it is? I think it was Neelix's negative energy affecting everyone on the ship, so I forgive him.
It was the whole thing was just a gas leak.
Speaking of growth, I gotta speak about Michael Burnham's hair journey and how it just, as a Black woman, I relate to it and I love it. In the first season, what does she have? That trash wig where it's like straight hair? That weird thing?
The Vulcan wig in episode 1 and 2.
Soneqa's always gonna look lovely, but I'm reading into it. Then as we go on, she gets the natural hair, she gets the fro. Then we get the baddest bitch braids. Girl. Okay, so the reason I learned to braid my own hair is because of Discovery, because I wanted to cosplay that one scene where Michael Burnham's in the chair and she's like, I don't know, texting. And when I did that cosplay, I learned to braid my hair for myself. And I just feel a real personal connection to that storyline. And as she gets more confident, as she gets, in tune with herself, you see her, have her natural styles and experiment a bit more and then get a bit fancier. I think that's a beautiful story. I'm hoping that was on some level intentional. It seems very intentional to me.
It seems both intentional and clearly something that was important to Sonequa Martin Green.
Yeah, I'm sure Sonequa had that, input in there. Because you know how it'd be.
Yeah, it's exactly. I think that, her story has been intentionally tracked. I think that, yes, the hairpiece, I think she probably did bring in saying, this kind of makes sense for my character. This makes sense for me as a human being, or it wouldn't. This is, how it would relate to so many other people who are watching this show.
It was lovely.
Again, we haven't even really talked. Not to make this negative, there are bad things about Discovery, but we've really, been hyping up for an hour. And also Sonequa Martin Green is phenomenal. She is just such a good lead for a TV show. I'm just like in love with her.
Yeah, I mean, there are fundamental weaknesses to the show, like
Let's
the
get
world
into it.
building is kind of crap. Like,
Mhm.
I like the Klingon stuff. Those of you who know me from my other Star Trek stuff, like The Edge of Midnight and From Cruelty Press, know I have interpretations of that. That's kind of
What?
crap. Yeah, we'll put links. There'll be links.
To be
Don't
fair,
worry.
You know what though? I mean, that is without Discovery, one of the things that you are like so, well known for, which has been Edge of Midnight and the Klingon, like, and one of the,
Doesn't exist
your
without
great
Discovery.
it's a great creative outlet for you, and it's really well done, and it's well written, and there's like lore, and it wouldn't exist without Discovery.
No, this podcast probably wouldn't exist without Discovery
That's
because
true as well. We had to
Mhm.
counteract the madness of 2020.
yeah, but like they've still got problems, and that's kind of part of the Icon Star Trek fan ethos is we like this thing so we can rag on it because otherwise we wouldn't like it.
I mean, guys, season 4, I didn't even. It was.
I liked
I'm
season
sorry.
4. The simple fact about about Discovery is it suffers from the issue of most prestige television is it can't do the middle of a plot. It can do the
It
start
was
and the end, but it
not
can't do the
working.
middle.
I tried.
I also
I
think
went back
that
today. I tried again. I was like, I honestly,
think
I
they-
forgot Book almost died.
yeah, but no, he did die. They just brought him back. They're allowed
Yeah,
to.
Yeah.
but Spock style.
I also thought they don't know how to use the volume. Like there were
That's
some of those
modern
scenes in the
television.
volume. There were some of the scenes in the volume that felt worse than the Hell Planet sound stages. They were just like, I can see the edge there. You put one rock behind it. And like season 4's attempts to try and make the characters seem more human, the bridge crew seem more human, was shit. I've been supposedly they're better in season 5. We'll find out. We'll watch it. What else didn't I like? Personally, I thought that season 3 should have taken longer for them to get to the Federation.
What about all? Yeah. I didn't like that they kept killing their queer characters and then saying, "No, it's fine. We did this, so it's okay."
Yeah.
Just let them live. Just let
Either let them
live for
live
a
or
bit.
let them live or let them die. Pick
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, can't be plucking them out of the soul realm every day.
Yeah. And and again, we didn't even talk about the fact that Discovery introduced us to the first NB and canonically trans characters in
and then
Star
kind
Trek.
of doesn't know what to
And
do
then
with either
merged
of them.
them.
Yeah.
It's been 2
But I will
seasons.
say-
It doesn't really know what to do with either Adira or Grey. They're just kind of there, which is really annoying because they're great characters.
But I will say, they have good writers. I know I follow some of them. I don't know if you all know like Carlos Cisco, who is one of the Discovery writers. He did seasons 3 and 4. He's also like a TTRPG person, so like he has like this weird kind of experience. I think that I think that for the most part they have a good writing team. Like you said, John, they struggle with the middle plot.
But we all struggle with the middle plot. It's a fucking hard bit.
Yeah. Well, I think, part of it is that like they kind of do this thing where they both like they have just the vaguest idea of what the season is going to be, and then they start writing it, and then they start realizing, oh, we need to get to that without having like really planned it ahead of time. It's like,
yeah, well, I've done that, so I can't be mad at them about it.
No, I get it.
Are you
I
getting
think that's
paid
normal.
those Paramount bucks?
I think
Yeah, but
that's
these
how,
no,
like,
but these are the
television
writers,
works.
Olivia. Let's be.
Yeah.
If they were being paid the Paramount bucks, they wouldn't have gone on. strike.
Paramount isn't even being paid Paramount bucks.
They're just like us, the British public.
Um,
Poor.
if Star Trek Picard is like a money laundering scheme, and it is according to me, what is Star Trek Discovery? It's more like it's
Star
sort of
Trek
like
Discovery was an actual attempt to make prestige television.
Yeah.
it's like a showcase of what Star Trek could be. Like it was like a little teaser,
Yeah.
like guys, we can do this, and then maybe later on we'll do this.
It's the Breaking Bad of Star Trek.
Yeah,
It's the
Yeah, I agree with it being the Breaking Bad of Star Trek in that it is a very different kind of television now at the end of it than it was at the beginning of it. People made television differently in 2017 than they do in 2024. People watch television differently. Star Trek Discovery went out weekly on a streaming platform and on live and on broadcast television. Right? It was on broadcast television in the UK. It was on Channel 4.
I forgot that happened.
they also aired, I don't know if it was all of season 1 or maybe just the first episode. They aired some of this first season on CBS. So
Yeah.
first they did the preview episodes, like they aired them originally on CBS, and then they like
It's
then
probably the
after each
last
season.
Trek show to semi-primarily air on live TV.
Oh, so
It aired at the time when Prestige TV was on television and not primarily on streaming services.
no wonder people actually know what it is. Non-nerds, guys, we got to get the message out there.
Yeah, but the thing is that
now that it's on 15 different streaming platforms, no one's ever going to fucking know.
The thing is that terrestrial TV is dead. And I know terrestrial TV is dead because they're putting Doctor Who up on Disney Plus before the BBC, which, you know, you can complain about or not. But the long and short of it is that terrestrial TV is dead because even Doctor Who isn't being shown live
Britain
on BBC.
has fallen.
The terrestrial TV is dead, but also what the streamers are recreating are just cable and terrestrial TV. It's like, you know, like
terrestrial TV, but you're paying more for less.
Yeah.
I would rather just pay for my whatever Sky Now TV thing and just browse. Anyway, we're rolling up on the 55-minute mark. So, Olivia, do you want to try and trip Nips rate Star Trek Discovery as we go into its 5 seasons? Do we want to explain this to our possible new audience? Yeah.
Okay, well, let's first explain trip nips. Trip nips are the sliding scale of curseness that we use to measure episodes on this podcast, based on the Enterprise episode Unexpected, in which Trip Tucker becomes with child and grows new nipples.
In miscellaneous places.
In miscellaneous places.
His wrist, mainly.
On the wrist. So I need to... Okay, so what's the scale of the entire series? How cursed is it? This is the question.
I think it gets a 4.
Based on?
Out of 10. I think it's a 4. It gets some points of curseness for that time L'Rell was really weird with Ash Tyler, and the fact that they're still kind of together, and the fact that she is Ash Tyler's kid.
See, that's so serious. It's probably not even a trip nip, but yes.
No, but when they fake the kid, they fake murder the kid and make the kid a monk, but then the monk is actually an old man when Pike meets him because time is weird on Boreth.
Okay, that level of nonsense, then it's cursed trip nip again. Yeah.
And then also
you're right. I forgot about I forgot that the kid became a monk at Boreth. I forgot.
And it gets some more points for the time that Vance is just like, you know, we eat our own shit, right? That's another point of curseness.
You know what? That was so fair.
Admiral Vance is like, you know, we recycle everything, so technically this apple is just my own shit, which is how I feel about you, by the way. I'm calling you a piece of shit. I'm calling you a piece of shit, Siren. Yeah. So I think it gets 4 for that, because it doesn't really have any. Oh, and Harry Mudd. Actually, Harry Mudd knocks up to a 6, because bringing Harry Mudd back was a banging choice.
That was fire. I love Harry Mudd.
Yeah, so that's 6.
Patrick, what do you think?
I'm gonna say 4. Harry Mudd was a great choice. I so struggle with Harry Mudd because like Mudd's women is just such a. It's like I just want to like ignore that Mudd's women happen and that all Harry Mudd is everything after Mudd's women.
Yeah.
Or like
Patrick, forgive TOS. They gave us this guy as well, so it's fine.
I know.
It's fine.
No, thank you, Arena.
And Olivia,
I think 4 is right.
4. I give it a 6. Olivia.
What's like the silliest curse thing that they've done to me? Oh, the weird, I guess Mirrorverse comments. It's just like, it's cringe, it's bad. I want to see you.
And well, there was
in my universe, you're pansexual, bitch. What? What are you talking about?
Or that time that like Lorca just nerve gassed an entire shit. Was like, oh, I'm evil.
I mean, sure. That seems a little more than curse. That seems unhinged and that seems psychotic, but sure. Okay, I'm gonna give it a 5 because it's not. I'm actually disappointed.
5. Yeah,
it's not like silly or cursed. It's actually just disappointed me.
5 out of 10 triplets, which is Discovery could have been more cursed, but it was hopeful and it was aspirational. Unlike many other things like Picard. Which we're not here to talk about, but we are here and we have been here to talk about Star Trek Discovery for the last days of Disco Festival. I'd like to thank very much everyone at Strange New Pod. Shout out to Julian and Giraffe for getting us to do this, even though we have been horribly, horribly ineffectual at getting all the logistics sorted for this because we're insane. You can find us at Quit Star Trek Pod on Twitter and Blue Sky. You can email us at iquitstartrek@gmail.com if you want to communicate that way. We are technically on TikTok. I don't know how that works.
I haven't posted for a year.
Maybe we should post. I don't know. Post before TikTok gets banned. But please follow us. Please give us a listen to. Rate and review us on iTunes. And until next time.
And Patrick is also here.
Patrick, do you
No,
want
I
to tell?
agree. You can find me also at Quit Star Trek Pod on no, I'm I'm on
You're elite guest. You're an elite guest. They can
I'm on
find you.
Twitter. You can find me. My name is Patrick Patterson, but
Yeah, you can find Patrick. You can ask him questions or not.
yeah, I'm a doctor, not the right kind, but
One of them.
Dr.
Yeah.
Patrick.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you all for listening. And until next time, don't go to the 32nd century. Just stay where you are. Stay where you are.